Hello and welcome to Inspire at Random. Thank you for joining me on yet another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to have more time, how I manifested more time for various things. And you might be asking like, hey, you're a work from home dad, so how can you have time issues? Well, once upon a time I did. And the reason why I'm sitting in front of my computer here is because I actually just did a journal entry about this, and so I'm going to be referring here from time to time and basically relating to you my entry. It also helps me to stay on point. So once upon a time, I had no time for myself. I was unfit, frustrated, and not just about the endless work problems and complications, but also about not getting compensated for my time. And above all, I was very annoyed to the point of like self-hating that apart from not being able to give my kids material things, I could not even give them something that did not require money, and that was time. So how is it that now I have time to reflect, to meditate, to journal in the mornings like I just did over here, and exercise twice a day? Well, actually, if you consider like walking the dog as well, that's like 3 times. So once in the morning, as you see on my YouTube shorts, and if you haven't followed me on Instagram, it's right here. It's Duffy Dog with a 7. Give a shout out on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. And by the way, yeah, you see me working out in the mornings. That's my plyometric exercise. In the afternoon, I play table tennis after the kids' school is over. And then in the evening, I also take my dog for a walk. So that's like 3 sessions in a day. And still, I'm able to get work done. And when my kids have a school project and let's say their friends come over after school, I can also play like a consultant or a director to basically advise them how the school project can be done or done better. So my work right now is like fruitful and high paying. I am well respected for my insights and how I perform my job duties. So how did I get to this point? How do I have all these amazing opportunities? If I were to write down some of the inspired actions that I took, you can say that I found the power of power naps, the power of altered states of mind like alpha and theta. And do you agree with me that a sharp mind, it works faster? So like I can get into a deep sleep in less than 3 minutes. I know a lot of people are jealous about that. If I need to power up for a late night business discussion, because as you know I work across time zones, I just need to put on like a guided meditation track, and before even the subject matter is entered into, I'm often like passed out. And when I want to get up from that, right? So either through an alarm or it could be like an embedded subliminal message inside of the end of that guided meditation, which could be like, you know, I look at how much time I have. Sometimes it's like 9 minutes, 12, 16, 18, 20, 24. And you must be wondering like, you know, you mean that's enough? Yes, it's actually enough. The best part is that, you know, when I fit in these power naps, it's kind of like when my daughter is falling asleep, so I take a power nap at the same time. We all know that during certain times of the day, the body is able to repair and restore itself. So I can respect my circadian clock as well. So I have also like a similar work system to Pomodoros. Pomodoros is like a productivity, like time pocket based way of working. And I envision the version of myself that gets the job done and has a lot of time for himself. So visualizing getting the job done also requires me knowing what are the best steps and the path of least resistance, knowing my responsibilities too. If you don't see the end point, then how are you going to work along it? So quantum leaping, quantum jumping is something that I do in order to get to this. So you can say that a lot of the things came together and I manifested more time. Earlier I mentioned like mental frequencies for power naps. I also learned to use mental frequencies to my advantage. Alpha state is like a problem solving state. I learned to be able to summon the right modes of functioning through meditation and also the assistance of music tracks. And there are some of it is also like physical anchors. For example, if you watch some of the commercials from Vishen Lakiani popping up on your screen, maybe in future when this channel gets monetized, it'll pop on my videos as well. And he talks about this 3-finger technique, like the mudras. Alright, so this is like one of a trigger that can also help you to get into the alpha state of mind, and that's very good for problem solving. So by now, I also have my own playlist of music for reflection, for relaxation, for productivity, and also for mindfulness. Regarding my work, a lot of my role is that of a project manager, so that involves me keeping track of stuff. And by doing things before I'm asked, I avoid having to work late, and my workmates get into the habit of knowing that everything has been or would have been sorted out. One of the big reasons why I did not have much time freedom in the past is because I work for a Hong Kong startup company. Hong Kong people have a stereotype of being like the busiest people in the world. And if I may add, I would say it's uselessly busy. The ones that I work with, they have a toxic trait of micromanagement. For instance, they are not able to leave things to other people. Even when a task is handed to someone, they seek to know how will this task be executed, what are the various checkpoints and metrics to ascertain that it's done, and they will obsess over how each and every step is being done, even though it's not their immediate task. As a result, they have no free time. Unfortunately, I did not have free time either. I was harassed late in the evenings. I would have to repeatedly head out to the toilet or car park. And on the weekends, where most people are chilling out and relaxing, I would have to repeatedly head to the toilet or the car park, or even in my car if I'm out, just for a work call that hardly accomplished anything. In the end, my cocktail lost its cold, or the band or the DJ whose music that I wanted to listen to, they already left or about to leave. Therefore, for my manifestation to happen, it also meant that I would have to change and influence their thinking if this was like a stumbling issue that prevented things from happening. By now, and due to my accountability, my ways of working, and how I show up and represent the company at internal and external business meetings and discussions, which I choose to believe my coworkers have observed and decided to mimic, I now sense a lower level of anxiety in the company in general. In my house, I practice feng shui principles of clearing clutter. I suggested a similar concept of reducing the clutter of business deals and projects that seem nice but are unnecessarily complicated or not worth the difficulty to execute. All these inspired actions, they came by the result of an intention, and the intention was driven by a desire. Through that desire, I sought out higher intelligence and advice from my higher self in my meditations, visualizations, and as you know, I can channel my higher self through my writings. I've talked that a couple of times in my past videos. However, in addition to all these inspired actions, there was also a condition that came unexpectedly. I would actually even say it was like a blessing. So that's the shingles. It stems from a virus called the herpes zoster, the same virus that causes chickenpox. And for those of you who had chickenpox before, in adulthood, in a period of time where you have high stress or lack of rest, or there are external triggers, there could be a recurrence. So that's what I had. And like I said, it's a huge blessing and a pivotal point for me, because it created an incident where my boss confronted me about my work attitude when I happened to be already very sleepy and grumpy that day. So I gave her a piece of my mind regarding how she, who also reads about manifestation, did not practice detachment and abandonment, which is a very important step in manifestation, and therefore has inevitably invited all of these problems. Later on, the company knew that it was due to my shingles condition that I was getting sleepy earlier than usual, and they chose not to bother me late at night. And of course, knowing that the work hours are less for myself, I also had to revolutionize the way that I work so that I could fit all the things that needed to be done in the time that I had. I chose to tell you about this later in the video because I'm not asking you to manifest illness, and while this was a very good accessory for the extra time that I manifested, it's not necessary. But you can definitely say that this was like a circumstance that helped me guide a certain outcome, and yeah, that's a real nice synchronicity. Fun fact, I did also write down I wanted to manifest the youth of a 23-year-old. I'm actually 40. And this helped me to achieve it by forcing me to cut alcohol, cut the late nights, get the required amount of deep sleep, and distancing myself from places that played music in frequencies that disturb the mental state and block one's ability to manifest. So I'll be talking about this topic about music and frequencies and getting into the ideal state in a future video. Thank you for joining me on this one. I hope I've been able to give you like some insights on how to get more time for yourself, get more time freedom, and increase your quality of life, have more time for your loved ones. Let's manifest the best year into your life this year, not next year. And remember what I like to say in my other videos, never do tomorrow what you can do today. Never do later what you can do now. And never do in a month what you can do in a week. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Hit the subscribe button and leave your comments down beneath this video. Share this with anyone you might know that can benefit from the advices that I handed out here. God bless.